Jay's definitely.
Jay helped you?
Yeah.
How did he
As a
help you?
competitor.
Explain it.
Yeah, because he never was someone that you communicate with that you're like friends with the person. But I always respected him because he was never an actual competitor in actual fact. He was someone who was a competitor through perception.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z.
And B was, one time she jumped off of the ledge, came running over because she thought me and Jay had issues, and I was like, what the? And I was like, did she really just jump down and run over here like that?
Beyonce jumped off a ledge.
Yeah, what happened? It was in the Cosmopolitan, huh?
She really a superhero.
She jumped down and no, she was like, this what? Like that Bonnie and Clyde for real? You try this or what, boy? I'm here.
Word.
She down like at me. I said,
was Solange with her?
She looked at me like that.
A new storm
fresh
is
storm
gathering
is
in the
forming.
entertainment world, one that blends old rumors, recent controversies, and resurfacing claims into a story that's impossible to ignore. At the center stands 50 Cent, a figure who has spent decades challenging the power structures of the industry. In his latest remarks, he suggested the conversation is no longer about a single mogul but may involve some of the most influential names in pop culture, including Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Oprah Winfrey. These are icons whose names often appear in speculation but are rarely addressed directly. The tension intensified when 50 Cent hinted that he possesses unseen material connected to powerful circles currently under scrutiny, suggesting that his recent documentary was only the beginning. Social media erupted when he dropped a cryptic warning, "You're next," a message many fans quickly interpreted as aimed at Jay-Z and Beyonce. The timing reignited debates about their long-standing connections within influential networks, prompting renewed scrutiny of the alliances, shared ventures, and overlapping influence that have linked these figures for years. As archived material resurfaces and unanswered questions return to the spotlight, the industry now watches closely to see whether these powerful relationships will face a new wave of public examination.
These were private conversations, and that he and Diddy could talk openly, and Mark could talk to Diddy not just as a client but as a person, and tried to guide him in a time leading up to his arrest. And unbeknownst to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy has got this guy recording the conversation as he's sitting there saying, "You are screwing this up. You are messing up this case. We're losing." And knowing that that's on tape. And it's almost like he's performing for the camera and not telling Mark what's going on. And the really enraging part about it is that Mark Agnifilo won this case for Diddy with legal strategy. It wasn't just an accident that this jury that had heard all of this in the news before the trial voted not guilty on all the serious charges. It was Mark Agnifilo that did that. Yet Diddy secretly records this guy and embarrasses him. And yeah, you could say, well, Diddy never expected that it would end up being broadcast somewhere else. Well, okay, but Diddy was planning on using it, or he wouldn't have had it recorded in the first place. So it's just really, really unfair. And I know that in a way this sounds crazy, that I'm getting so upset about Diddy, and yet there's video of Diddy beating Cassie. Well, that's horrendous, but that doesn't mean you can't look at something else as well. And I just think, as a lawyer, I just think this is just so outrageous that he would do something like this, and not even understanding what Agnifilo's legal theory was. Because I will tell you that when we did our first documentary on Diddy, which was 8 months before the trial, Mark Agnifilo said to me on camera that he is going to tell this jury that this was a successful black man that prosecutors were trying to take down because they couldn't get into his bank accounts because they were clean, and he couldn't deal with they couldn't deal with taxes because he wasn't committing tax fraud. So they go into his bedroom. And that's what Mark Agnifilo said 8 months before. And he goes into the trial and he essentially wins that argument. Whether you believe it or not, a jury that sat through the whole thing, they believed it. And ultimately they convicted him on this BS Mann Act thing. So Diddy won that case. And one of the reasons he won the case is something that Agnifilo got criticized for. That when he did the documentary with me, he was making a joke about the baby oil. Remember, he said, oh, well, you know, I didn't know he bought in bulk. He must have bought 1,000 bottles at Costco. And a lot of people just slammed him for that and said, how dare you? You're being disrespectful. The baby oil is the smoking gun in this case. Agnifilo knew all along that the baby oil was Diddy's best defense, because when Agnifilo got before that jury in closing arguments, he looked at them and he said, well, the feds came in with their armor and artillery and guns. And what did they do? They got 1,000 bottles of baby oil off the streets. Ooh, he said, the streets are safer now. And the jury laughed. And that laugh told Agnifilo he should keep going on that. And that the trial itself was absurd because the baby
A powerful
oil.
new wave of controversy is building across the entertainment world, blending resurfaced rumors, past controversies, and fresh speculation into a story that's capturing massive attention. At the center is 50 Cent, a longtime industry disruptor known for challenging powerful figures. In recent remarks, he hinted that the spotlight may now extend beyond a single mogul to some of the biggest names in pop culture, including Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Oprah Winfrey. Tension escalated when 50 suggested he holds unseen material tied to influential circles already facing public scrutiny, teasing that his recent documentary may only be the beginning. Social media exploded after his cryptic message, "You're next," which many fans quickly linked to Jay-Z and Beyoncé. The moment reignited debates about long-standing alliances, shared influence, and powerful networks within the industry. As archived clips and unanswered questions resurface, the spotlight grows brighter on these connections, leaving the entertainment world watching closely to see whether this latest wave of scrutiny will trigger a deeper re-examination of some of Hollywood and hip-hop's most powerful relationships.
It seems like 50 Cent has set his sights on someone new after the Diddy Netflix documentary. If you aren't aware, 50 Cent has been getting insane feedback from the Netflix documentary he made on Diddy. Sean Combs' The Reckoning is what it's called, and it's #1 all over Netflix, beating even Stranger Things. Diddy himself has responded to it, saying the stories are false, of course, denying everything, and even trying to do a cease and desist on the Netflix documentary. And after this Diddy documentary, a lot of people have been wondering who's the next person that deserves to get exposed. And Jay-Z is the one that a lot of people are pointing their finger at. And the reason why Jay-Z's been getting a lot of this type of backlash is because Jay-Z was really close to Diddy. At one point, Diddy was even calling him his brother, and that Jay-Z's the only one that can call him his real name, Sean. That maybe there's something on Jay-Z's side that has been going on behind the scenes. Now, there hasn't been any solid proof yet, but Nicki Minaj has been going at Jay-Z for quite some time, talking about Jay-Z is manipulative and he steals, and he's been pushing a narrative and that Roc Nation has control and power over a lot of things. And I can kind of understand where she's coming from to a certain extent. We got to remember when Jay-Z went up on the Grammy stage and said Beyonce never won Album of the Year and complained about that, literally the following year, Beyonce wins Album of the Year. Which is just something like, if that doesn't show you that there is some power going on there, that there is something behind the scenes that Jay-Z controls, it's clear as day that it's all politics on who wins Grammys, you know, who gets the better light and things. So that kind of opened my eyes, you know, as to Roc Nation's power and how they manipulate things in the media. I'll never forget, Jay-Z would get this like special treatment all the time when it comes to the media. I mean, Hot 97, when they interviewed Jay-Z, they literally rolled out a red carpet. They never did that for any other artist. So Jay-Z's always had this kind of special treatment when it came to things. But now the question is Jay-Z involved in crazier things? I mean, there's been a lot of speculation in a lot of different ways, and people are pointing their attention towards 50 Cent wanting him to do a Jay-Z documentary. And it looks like he might actually do it, because on Instagram, he posted a drawing of Jay-Z that kind of makes fun of his looks. And he posted that photo and he said this in the caption: "Please stop sending me stuff like this. I'm not going to post it." Basically making a joke, because obviously he posted it on his social media. But, and here's the interesting but in this, is someone commented on the post and the comment got liked by 50 Cent. And this is the comment. It's from Dom KMDA. I hope I pronounced that right. Dom Kanmada. He commented saying, "My only question, he's next, isn't he?" And 50 ended up liking that comment. And here's the thing. I actually saw this on Twitter and X, whatever, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to confirm, is this real? Because a lot of people Photoshop these type of things just to create drama and create this speculation. So I actually DM'd the guy himself and I showed him the photo and I asked him, "Hey, is this a real photo? Did 50 like your comment?" He said, "Hey, yes, he did." And I was like, perfect. Thank you for confirming. Thought it was Photoshopped. LOL. Appreciate the response. And he said, "I was surprised as well. Didn't see that coming." So shout out to him for, responding to my DM and confirming that, the comment actually got liked by 50, because, a lot of people Photoshop and spread narratives. So me being the proper journalist, whatever you want to call me, news reporter, I, wanted to go get to the source and see if it was actually real. There's also something that's very interesting that went over a lot of people's heads, and that's the documentary coming out on December 2nd. That Diddy documentary coming out on that date. Literally 2 days later, you have Jay-Z's birthday, December 4th, which to me sends a subliminal message to Jay-Z that you're next. So that's crazy. That just, to me, shows that 50 is potentially gonna work on something going at Jay-Z, and he might get Nicki Minaj involved, because Nicki Minaj has a huge issue with Jay-Z with a lot of things, and I don't even know the full details of that, because she's gone at Jay-Z for quite some time.
As the years went on, Jay-Z continued moving within some of the most influential circles in entertainment, media, and corporate power. Meanwhile, 50 Cent often responded to moments he believed were being quietly overlooked with sarcasm, coded social media posts, or sharp commentary, but rarely with a direct warning. This time, however, feels different. For the first time, 50 has hinted that he may possess material that could place the Carters directly in the spotlight, and fans know he rarely makes bold claims without eventually revealing something to back them up. That suggestion alone quickly pushed both Jay-Z and Beyoncé into the center of a growing online debate. Soon, the conversation expanded to include Oprah Winfrey, leaving many wondering how her name entered the discussion. The connection traces back to long-standing criticism from 50 Cent, who has frequently questioned how Oprah uses her media influence, arguing that certain narratives receive more attention than others during major cultural moments. Over the years, he has openly challenged her editorial priorities and even expressed frustration about never appearing on her platform. That history now adds another layer to why her name is resurfacing alongside some of the industry's most powerful figures, as scrutiny and public debate continue to intensify.
Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein, he was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support him. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z. We the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff, but you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there and denounce what he did.
As the years passed, Jay-Z continued moving within some of the most powerful circles across entertainment, media, and corporate influence. Meanwhile, 50 Cent often responded to moments he believed were being quietly overlooked with sarcasm, coded social posts, and sharp commentary, but rarely with a direct warning. This time feels different. For the first time, 50 has suggested he may hold material that could place the Carters directly in the spotlight, and fans know he rarely makes bold claims without eventually revealing something behind them. That hint alone quickly pushed both Jay-Z and Beyoncé into the center of a growing online debate. Soon the conversation expanded to include Oprah Winfrey, leaving many wondering how her name entered the discussion. The connection traces back to long-standing criticism from 50 Cent, who has often questioned how Oprah uses her media influence, arguing that certain narratives receive more attention than others during major cultural moments. Over time, he has challenged her editorial priorities and even voiced frustration about never appearing on her platform. That history now adds another layer to why her name is resurfacing alongside some of the industry's most powerful figures as public scrutiny and debate continue to grow.
Beyonce didn't want to speak and does not speak to Brandy. And the truth of the matter is, there she go back there with Monica and Kelly, and there go Patti LaBelle, and then there goes Solange, all right? And there's a reason why Solange is around as well. Because if you guys don't know, for a while, Solange and Beyonce actually were not on speaking terms, but they're back talking now, they're back cool. And basically Solange is around to keep Beyonce spiritually protected. Solange is the spiritual protector of that family. Don't get it twisted. Mama Tina is powerful. Solange is the most powerful list. You better ask some damn body. All right. Now, the reason why Beyonce ain't came to speak to Brandy, baby, is because Beyonce does not talk to anyone who used to sleep with Jay-Z. Okay, whether you guys know it or not, and I have to say allegedly, right? Jay-Z and Brandy used to talk back in the day, and by back in the day I mean like late 90s type stuff, right? Brandy always kept Jay-Z on the low back in the day because, quite honestly, he was too ugly to be out in public with. I'm just keeping it real. To claim him publicly, he was too ugly back in the day. Now, when you try to search up pictures of Jay-Z and Brandy, you will find... Hold up, let me see. Hold up. Let me see, because I thought I had a picture of them two, Brandy and Jay-Z. Now, this would have been from... let's see, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Brandy and Jay-Z. Okay, there we go. Now, this picture of them was in 2002. All right. And this was, I think was at one of her album release parties, if I'm not mistaken. This was a year after Moesha Rap, because Moesha went off air in 2001. Yes, he was dealing with Beyonce at the time as well. And, Blue Cantrell, he was, let me tell you, Jay-Z was laying it low and spreading it wide. Jay-Z was one of those dudes in the industry that, you know, you messed around with, he piped you down, but before he was really him, you did not claim him publicly because he was just simply too ugly. It was what it was. But Jay-Z was in love with Brandy then. He's not in love with her now, but he still has love and feelings towards her. He's one of those people that feels like once he done had you and once he done loved you, he always feels like he has like possession over you. Jay-Z is one of those kind of men, baby. I don't know if they told you. Jay-Z is extremely jealous, extremely controlling, and extremely possessive. That's another reason why. Hold up. Where'd the picture go? Wait a minute. Where'd the picture go? That's another reason why Beyonce up here. Wait. Anyway, y'all get the point. That's another reason why Beyonce, over the years, a lot of the music that she's made, it's always been with him. A lot of the remixes, it's always been with him or somebody that he approves of her to work with. Okay. Jay-Z was so damn controlling, he didn't even want her father, talking about Matthew Knowles now, he didn't want her father managing her anymore, and he stepped in. And if y'all notice, when Jay-Z stepped in as Beyonce's manager, the music changed, everything changed, and the money started to get effed up. But that's another story for another day. We're not getting on that right now. We're sticking with Brandy and Jay-Z right now. So they started messing around on the low in the 90s. Even to the early 2000s, they were still messing around. I'm not exactly sure which year the relationship officially ended, but just know that Jay-Z was just basically good for, that was what he gave. He gave big, I don't know no other way to put it, but he was like, for the ladies that's watching, you know, like, if you ever dealt with like a tall, ugly with big pipe, you went to him to get piped down, but you would not like ever like claim him like that because he was just super ugly. It was what it was. And before he really blew up, didn't nobody want to be seen with him like that. It is what it is. And quite frankly, Jay-Z dated a lot of your favorite female stars from back in the day, but they would
Diddy
not.
Combs and Jay-Z
Diddy
have
and-
long shared a professional relationship, collaborating on music, appearing together at major industry events, and moving within the same elite circles of influence. Their frequent presence in high-profile spaces has fueled the perception that top-tier figures often operate within tightly connected networks where influence, opportunity, and information flow behind the scenes. This is the kind of environment that 50 Cent has recently suggested may now be facing increased public scrutiny. The conversation intensified further after remarks from Ray J, who claimed that some well-known figures connected to Diddy were becoming uneasy about what might surface next. According to him, certain names were quietly creating distance, a suggestion that quickly sparked widespread online debate. In many of these discussions, Jay-Z and Beyoncé are often mentioned, not as targets of accusations, but as highly visible figures who have shared the same environments, award shows, exclusive gatherings, investment circles, and the inner layers of Hollywood power. Their presence in these influential spaces keeps them part of the broader conversation, reinforcing the idea that when scrutiny reaches one corner of the elite, the ripple effects are often
Circle
felt
feels the
throughout the
ripple.
entire
Look,
circle.
when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammy.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was one. He got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like, he thinks the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't sing.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, he was like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch. Like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
He's just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation, bro. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Oh, yeah, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
I know, right?
Proximity.
Hold on. Proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I learned
Proximity,
that.
do you think he knew all of the shit that was going on? Yeah, that was like a...
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it...
Like I said,
no matter how you answer that, you snitching.
That was a nice kind of question.
You asked the question like a fan.
hey, I grew up with white people, but it's one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question. Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce
Le Chemin de Roi.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Chemin de Roi.
Because I know Branson.
Yeah.
That's the one I pronounce.
That's the Branson lifestyle. You're gonna be outside.
You're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way. Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up.
I don't have to in my past.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took
enough.
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't give her a drink so she forget what the.
This is why the warning from 50 Cent is being taken so seriously. His message isn't built on random speculation, but on visible connections that appear to link past controversies, public silence, and carefully managed reputations within powerful entertainment circles. In his view, the influence once held by Hollywood's elite networks is no longer untouchable, and he has made it clear he intends to challenge that power openly. The impact of the recent documentary tied to discussions around Sean Diddy Combs didn't stop with a single figure. It sparked wider conversations across the industry, reaching artists, executives, and public personalities connected to those same environments. When 50 Cent hinted that more projects could be on the way, the reaction was swift, legal teams revisiting past matters, public relations strategies shifting, appearances quietly cancelled, and digital footprints suddenly disappearing. None of these moves prove wrongdoing, but they have fueled public curiosity, because sudden silence and distance often raise questions of their own. As discussions continue, the situation leaves one question echoing louder than ever: who noticed the warning signs, and who chose to look the other way?
Sean Combs, The Reckoning, the 50 Cent Diddy doc. First and foremost, we've been talking about this thing, Jack, for going on 2 years now, and once again, thank you for even being, I guess you could say, a beacon during this whole conversation, as far as kind of spreading light on a lot of things that go down in the industry that, you know, the normal person may not even see or hear about, that happens in the day-to-day. Did you really think 50 Cent, when he first mentioned it, that there was an actual documentary being worked on?
Well, see, this is the thing. I can believe that it was happening. At what purpose? See, and that's the thing. Like, my opinion about all of this stuff is so much different than your average person's, and my outlook is so much different than your average person's. Did I believe that it was possible? Absolutely. Why wouldn't he be able to do a documentary? Why wouldn't he be able to bring in Alexandria to come and put this together? Like, the woman who directed this, she doesn't even seem to have a background in hip hop at all.
That makes sense.
So it's like, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I mean, for crying out loud, Diddy sent him freak off videos.
True. Very true.
Interviews.
Very true.
About it.
Did you feel that just 50 Cent's name being attached to it again? These are two, as everyone knows, the three names in hip hop are Jay-Z, Diddy, 50 Cent, when it comes to the status of where you could get as a business or a brand.
I guess so.
So for the top three individuals, for one to go at the other and release this doc, I don't know, what does that say to again, I keep asking about the hip hop state of things. What does that say to hip hop? Like, are we our own downfall? I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on what you consider hip hop. Like, I don't consider any of this debauchery, any of this animalistic crap. I don't consider any of this hip hop. I grew up in hip hop. You know, I know what hip hop culture is, and it's none of this stuff that people are selling.
I mean, when did it stop being hip hop? We're gonna go through the documentary itself, but when did it stop?
It stopped being hip hop when it became corporatized. It stopped being hip hop when certain groups of people saw that they could use it to influence the mass public. When people saw how influential hip hop was, it became very clear. Once upon a time, not long ago where people wore pajamas and lived life. You know, the laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to good. There lived a little boy, and he was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said: "Me and you, can we go make some cash, robbing old folks and making a dash?"
Come on.
Like, they did the job and money came with ease, but one couldn't stop us like he had a disease. He robbed another and another and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a detective undercover.
Jay-Z has been seen at exclusive industry gatherings. Beyonce has appeared at events connected to influential circles. And Oprah Winfrey has publicly praised figures who are now facing increased scrutiny. None of this suggests involvement in wrongdoing, but it places their names within the same broader conversations, something that alone can ignite intense online attention. That context is why the warning from 50 Cent feels significant when he says this may only be the beginning and that more names could surface, especially after already challenging figures linked to powerful networks that include people such as Sean Diddy Combs. Many wonder why 50 Cent is leading this moment, and the explanation is often tied to how he built his influence. Unlike many industry figures who rely on long-standing alliances and carefully managed public images, 50 built much of his power through independence, expanding into media ventures, business projects, and platforms where he controls his own voice. That freedom allows him to publicly question powerful figures and raise conversations others might only discuss privately. Because his reputation is often tied to documentation, commentary, and direct challenges rather than quiet speculation, audiences tend to pay close attention when he speaks. In an industry that sometimes operates through quiet agreements and careful messaging, someone willing to speak loudly can quickly become a disruptive force, and that's why his warning that even the most powerful should stay alert has captured so much attention across the entertainment world.